Hello, Gracie's, and welcome back to our social studies lesson for week 14. This is part 2 of our community development lesson. And we are going to go ahead, like I mentioned in the previous video, that we are going to continue with the inventions and things that encompass this lesson, and then also do a bit of an activity with you. So, in finishing or ending off the unit for social studies for this academic year as well, this is the last lesson. Um, we in the previous lesson we mentioned inventions and scientists and things that basically help the world to progress. So like Al-Jazari, Ahmad, and then also the previous inventor as well, which invented the camera obscura, developed basic structures and basic machines very many years ago, which basically was the start to how we use technology today. Like with Ahmad, we had the navigation, which brings us the GPS today. And then with the first inventor we discussed brought us the camera obscura, which brings us camera phones and digital cameras, video recording things, the study of light and sight. And then also with Al-Jazari, with his mechanical devices and his mechanical genius brain, brought us all of these things, which started a ripple effect of how we use systems today. And like we mentioned in the previous lesson as well, these designs and mechanisms are still used today in implementing some of the mechanics. So he started something really, really great. But on to today's lesson, we're heading on over to medical discoveries, which help save lives every day. So we know that technology and inventions and science helps make our lives easier and a bit more um, practical. So with inventions, there was also inventions and discoveries made in order to help save lives in terms of the medical field. So Muhammad ibn Zakaria al-Razi is one of the greatest physicians from the Muslim world. He recommended simple natural home remedies and warned of the dangers of strong medicines. He collected information from patients, recorded his findings and made recommendations in books that were used by many medical schools. Louis Pasteur, which is another famous inventor, was a chemist. He was a scientist who discovered that heat could kill bacteria. So the milk that we drink today is basically pasteurized milk. And what that means is when cows or goats or wherever we get milk from, when they are milked, the milk goes into these huge containers. It is heated in a process called pasteurization. And this pasteurization process was named after Louis Pasteur because of his surname. And what pasteurization basically entails is heating the milk in a large container to a certain temperature, which kills bacteria. And have you ever heated milk in a microwave or on the stovetop, or watched your mother or father do it in the microwave on the stovetop? Once you heat milk and you boil it to a specific temperature, there's this little foam at the top that develops after you heat milk up. That basically gets scraped away. So that is what happens in pasteurization. They boil the milk, and this little film that develops at the top of the container is taken away, because that is where all the bacteria and things floated to. That is why it is taken away. So pasteurized milk makes milk safer for us to drink and free from many bacteria. So Louis Pasteur proved that bacteria grew from germs in the air and they spoiled liquids like milk. He developed a process known as pasteurization, in which liquids are heated to high temperatures to kill bacteria. So if it wasn't for the discoveries of Louis Pasteur, we'll be drinking milk that has bacteria and germs in it, and many, many people would be getting sick. So we could be thankful for Louis Pasteur for basically discovering that germs get killed once heated. So with the next inventor, which is called Edward Jenner, he was a doctor that discovered the process of vaccination. So very many years ago, there was an epidemic. Much like today, we have the coronavirus epidemic. The epidemic of smallpox happened very many years ago. It was a disease that affected skin, and it was bacteria and everything. So Edward Jenner discovered a vaccination, and a vaccination is basically a way of preventing someone from getting sick by injecting tiny amounts of it into the body. So When we are born, we also get vaccinations for specific diseases, and smallpox is one of them that we get vaccinated to. And when you travel to various different countries, some of the visa requirements ask you to get vaccinated. Like when I traveled to Saudi Arabia for the first time, I had to get vaccinated for specific illnesses as well, so that I don't contract it or get sick, right? So the smallpox vaccination was the first successful vaccination to be developed. Before this vaccine, many people died of smallpox. Jenner found that infecting a patient with cowpox, a minor disease, protected them from smallpox as much more serious disease. So basically the way a vaccination works is it is a type of illness that you get injected with, which then promotes your body to fight that illness. And once you are able to fight it and you are exposed to a specific illness again, you won't get that illness or you won't die from it. Like with the flu, right? The flu, influenza is a virus, and very many thousands of years ago there was the plague, which was like the flu. So the flu killed a lot of people, and it still kills a lot of people today because a lot of people's immune systems don't react to illnesses the same way. So with the flu, there are vaccines for the flu. So you get a flu vaccination, and once flu season, which is winter, comes around, you don't get sick because you've been vaccinated and your body knows how to fight it off before your body shows symptoms. So that was the work of Edward Jenner, developing vaccinations. So that basically concludes this lesson for today. And like I mentioned, we have a bit of an activity which is quite fun. So I'm going to bring that up. And this activity is basically testing if you remember which inventor or which scientist was responsible for which things or what they were interested in. So let's start with Hassan ibn al-Haytham. We know that he was interested in optics, which was the study of light and the study of sight. So we know that he was interested in optics, so we'll pop optics under his name. He also developed which thing that gave us the camera today. It's known as the camera obscura. So we'll pop that in there. And he was also not just an inventor, but he was a scientist as well. So we'll pop scientist under his name and we'll check whether we are correct. What do we remember from Ahmad ibn Majid? Ahmad ibn Majid, we know, was an inventor who liked navigation. So he's the person who gave us GPSs today. So not directly, but he started the work on maps and navigation. So we know he was a navigator. He studied various other things as well. We know he studied Arabic literature as well as astronomy. And then Al-Jazari was an inventor of mechanical devices. We know that he was a mechanical genius, as it said in the beginning of that paragraph. We also know that he invented practical devices that would make lives easier for people, and he invented a total of 50 machines. And these 50 machines were not limited to, but they included an elephant clock, which could tell the time, and then also a water lifting device, which gave us advances for plumbing today. So let's see if what we remembered was correct, and if everything we've popped in here is basically correct. If we are correct, each of these little blocks will have a green tick next to it, and if any of them are wrong, they will have a red X or a red cross over it. So let's have a look. Let's submit. All correct. Excellent. So well done, boys. We basically got all of them correct. So basically, if you get confused or if you are unable to remember, just track back to page 91, 92, and 93 and see if you can find these facts and name which inventor was responsible for which things and what they were interested in. So that concludes social studies for today and for this academic year. We are going to do some revision because I have a bit of an online test pass, not an exam, but an online test that we need to conclude. And I'm going to do some revision with you, give you certain page numbers in which you should go over, and then you should be able to pass the test with ease. So thank you so much for joining and for tuning in. I will see you guys next time.